Yeah, all right. Welcome back to the Dr. Hutch Show. This is Dr. J.L. Hutchison. Plan for Impact. We're talking about the power of wisdom. So we're going to be talking a little about this thing called The Secret. But before we get into that, I want to explain a couple other things too. Who King Solomon was. See, God had gave his father, King David, the opportunity to plan everything for his son to build God's temple. Here's a guy never built anything in his life. And then then here he is, 20 years old. And he's ruling over all these people. And God says, he went to God and he said, God, he said, bro, you got to hook a brother up. You got to give me something that's going to help me because you have a great number of people. And God said, I'll give you one wish. I'll grant you whatever it is your heart desires. I'll grant it. And you know what the brother said, Antoine? He ain't asked for a new car, no Mercedes, nothing like that.
No horse.
No horse, nothing. No chariots. No, ain't even a little honey. This brother asked for God to give him a discerning heart to govern the people, to distinguish between what was right. So, because he felt who was able to govern this great people of God. And the Lord was pleased that Solomon asked this. God said, oh, you asked that? He said, I'm going to hook you up now. So what God did, he turned around, since you asked not for wealth for yourself, for a long life, or for you the death of your enemies, I'm going to give you a discerning heart. And not only that, I'm going to give you everything else. I'm going to give you wealth. I'm going to give you a long life. But the long life is based on you being what? Obedient. Whoa. So God said, I'm going to give you all this, but I'm going to make sure that you continue to do what? Obey me. Folks, this thing called The Secret requires us to have this thing called the law of attraction. So whatever we think of, whatever we feel, it actually manifests in the natural, right? So if I'm feeling bad, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to attract people to me. I'm going to feel bad. But if I feel great, what happens? I'm going to feel great. So it goes up against the thing that God's wisdom, as far as in regards to right and wrong. So if you living out of character, and you're outrageous in your living and you're disobedient to what is right and what is wrong, not just the natural evolution of life itself. Any fool would know that. So at the same time, you think that good things are going to come to you and you living like a fool? And then you say the law of attraction is going to give you the opportunity to, sometimes people say, well, it changes my life, it changed my, yes, it changes your life, it changes you to different things, but that is just the knowledge of what? A process. See, a process, that doesn't require you to do what? To do anything in connection to God.
It doesn't change the heart at all.
It doesn't change the heart at all. So, because you are still doing what? People still shack up together, right? So let me use The Secret so I can have what? A better relationship, So like when you and your wife first met, it was a thing where you had wisdom already in regards to relationships, as far as experience that you had. So you were trying to figure out, she act like Mary, she act like Missy, you're trying to figure out what that person, who they are.
Just trying to figure out who she is.
Yeah, so if it reminded you of anybody, and then as far as also your lifestyle and what you represent, and if that person was doing something that was out of, say, things that you would think would be wrong, say y'all having sex outside of marriage, and then next thing you know, you think that you're going to have a good relationship. You think your relationship based on...
Are even going to get better.
Exactly. Just like somebody cheating on their spouse and they have a relationship that is secret. It goes back to me about 18 years ago. I had this is me. This is Dr. Hutch putting his business on the street. But I had a relationship 18 years ago where I was a young man and I had a live-in girlfriend, right? And then I had some other honeys. So it caused me to do what? It was a secret relationship in regards to the girls that was outside the house. And it was a secret relationship to the woman that was inside the house.
Right.
You know, so it caused me to do what? The difference between right and wrong became what? Twisted. So I actually end up becoming a liar. So one lie needs 15 to cover. So what happened? You end up in this circle of what? Your character, your inability to follow through with what is right and what was wrong. So I end up being a liar, a cheat, and it eventually, what could have happened, I could have been a thief. And I was a thief because I was stealing people's time. I was taking away from them. So wisdom caused me to do what? To change those things. Because I had to have the balance between what was right and what was wrong. So, folks, the thing of attracting something to you, you know, if you're going to attract nonsense to you, you're going to get what? Nonsense. Yeah, that is true on a certain plane. But at the same time, in regards to this secret thing, it causes people to forget God. There is no fear of God. See, that's the beginning of real wisdom. See, you can have all the cars, have everything. Do you know what wisdom really leads to without God? It's meaningless. It leads to sorrow. You can have all the wealth, everything that you would actually want. You know, and that's true. When I first became a millionaire, it was like, whoa, I tried to kill myself twice. Why? Because it led to what? Sorrow. And that is so true. And King Solomon talks about that in the book of Proverbs, as far as 10 through 13. You know, brother, lays it down. He said, wisdom, hey, it's good, but it's meaningless without God. So for you today, understanding that the things that's going on in your life, you know some things that are wrong in your life. And you continue to do what? The wrong thing. Remember I talked about the 11th commandment? You living by the 11th commandment. Who can be the slickest and what you can get away with? You need to stop it. Because true wisdom causes you to act on the ability of that knowledge. You know, like my mom told me one night, I remember I brought this girl home, her name was Angela, and I said, here's Angie. And my mom sort of looked her up and down, walked in the house, closed the door, walked in the house. I walked behind my mom. I said, Mom, what's going on? She said, don't ever bring her over my house. She's no good. She has too much experience for you. Whoa. You know? Wow. So what, you know what that does to a brother's ego? You know? She was right because of the wisdom that she has. So she didn't know her. She didn't experience any interaction with her, but she knew. See, sometimes, folks, we have our warning sign to get out, to stay away before the fire even starts. Like you was telling me yesterday, what'd you say, Antoine, about the stove?
If it's hot, it's hot.
If it's hot.
And if you got burnt, you got burnt.
But if you keep going back, that's you, right?
That's all on you.
That's all on you. You cannot continue to go back, and you know that see, a lot of people forget about the consequences. You know?
Yes.
And the thing of this law of attraction, there is consequences too. Because the balance, there is no spiritual balance. Because the right from wrong, so say if I'm a person that is living a life that's outrageous, but my law of attraction brings me, you know, it may possibly bring, you may get the wealth, you may get all those things, but all that is self-serving.